let's talk about something that's been bugging me all summer. Because while every other front office in this league was out there making moves, the Knicks basically sat on their hands. And look, I get, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But here's the thing nobody's talking about enough. That inactivity might actually be the best thing that ever happened to Miles McBride's career. Before we get into it, if you're new here, smash that subscribe button because we cover everything Knicks, no fluff, no nonsense, just real talk from a real fan. So here's where we're at. James Dolan doesn't want to touch the luxury tax with a 10-foot pole. We all know that by now. And because of it, this front office basically ran it back with the exact same group that took us to the conference finals. The only real change was swapping Mitchell Robinson out for Andre Drummond off the bench. That's it. That's the whole offseason. And honestly, my first reaction was frustration. Because when you're this close, you want ownership to go all in. You want them to add pieces. You want them to show the fan base they're serious about getting over the hump. Instead, we got silence. But then I started thinking about it differently. And I want you to think about it with me for a second. Because there's actually a silver lining buried in all this. If the front office believed this roster needed outside help to take the next step, they would have gone out and gotten it. The fact that they didn't tells me one of two things. Either ownership is being cheap again, which, let's be real, is always on the table with Dolan, or this front office genuinely believes the internal growth of the guys already on the roster is enough to get this team further than last year. And if it's the second one, there's really only one guy on this roster whose ceiling still feels unwritten, and that's Miles McBride. Drop a comment below and tell me which one you think it is, because I go back and forth on this every single day. Now, let's look at why McBride specifically. Every single starter on this team has basically shown you who they are at this point. OG Anunoby is what he is, an elite two-way wing who might tighten up his offensive game a little more after a strong playoff run. But he's 29 years old. That's not a guy with a ton of new development left in the tank. Mikal Bridges, same story. 29 years old. We know exactly what we're getting. Jalen Brunson, 29 as well. He's already an all-NBA caliber guy. There's no hidden leap coming there. He's already arrived. Josh Hart is 31. Karl Anthony Towns is 30. This entire starting core is in the prime of their careers right now, which is great. But it also means the growth this team needs isn't coming from the top of the roster anymore. That's exactly why McBride matters so much heading into this season. The kid is only 25 years old, and he's coming off the best year of his career. And I don't think people outside of this fan base fully appreciate how good he actually was. We're talking 12 points, 2.6 assists, 2.4 rebounds, just under a steal a night, and 2.7 made threes a game, all in barely over 26 minutes. Do the math on that pace over a real starter's workload, and it's scary. He shot 42% from the field, 41% from three, and almost 79% from the free throw line. Those are elite efficiency numbers for a bench guard. And on top of that, the defensive metrics on this guy are absurd. 92nd percentile, defending isolations on the perimeter, 97th percentile guarding off ball. That's not a role player stat line. That's a guy playing winning basketball at an extremely high level on both ends. And here's what really gets me. He put those numbers up despite dealing with a sports hernia surgery that interrupted his development mid-season. Imagine what this version of McBride looks like with a full, healthy offseason behind him. If you're feeling as hyped about this as I am, hit that like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel grow, and it lets me know you guys want more breakdowns like this one. Now, let's talk awards, because I actually think McBride has a real case for multiple pieces of hardware this season. Most improved player is the obvious one. Between last season and the one before it, he bumped his per 36 numbers by 2.5 points and over a full made three. That's real, tangible growth, not just a product of more minutes. And with Mitchell Robinson gone, McBride is now the unquestioned top guy coming off the bench for this team, which means his role, his touches, and his shot volume should all naturally increase. If the Knicks are looking for ways to become less predictable on offense now that every single team in this league is game planning specifically for Brunson and Towns, having a knockdown shooter who can also create his own offense coming off the bench is exactly the kind of wrinkle that throws defenses off balance. And that brings me to Sixth Man of the Year. He's already considered one of the premier 3 and D guards in this entire league, and now he's stepping into a bigger, more feature role with more offensive responsibility. If the production scales the way it should, and I genuinely believe it will, Mcbride is going to be squarely in that conversation all season long. Here's my honest opinion as a fan, and some of you are not going to like this, but I'll say it anyway. I still think this front office needed to do more this summer. I don't think you sit still after a run like we had. But if there's one thing that makes me feel better about it, it's knowing that the growth this team is banking on isn't some hypothetical, feel-good story. It's a guy who's already shown you exactly what he's capable of, who's getting younger every year relative to the rest of this core, and who has every reason in the world to take another leap in 2026 to 27. So, Knicks fans, I want to know from you. Do you trust this front office's plan to develop from within, or do you think standing pat this offseason is going to come back to bite us in the playoffs? Type your answer in the comments. I read every single one of them, and I reply to as many as I can. If you enjoyed this breakdown, do me a favor and like the video, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe if you haven't already, because we got a lot more Knicks content coming your way all season long. I'll see you in the next one.